Crown Imperial, since we don't do DC, I will broaden the trio a little bit. Just be aware. You're expecting.
Yes.
Yeah, I've definitely messed with my MP collection.
Doing that?
That and just putting dimes in it.
Okay, here we go. Marathon coming up. Here we are. Into.
Receive this opening blessing. May this day be filled with limitless, unspeakable joy. May this hour be packed with profound gratitude for each learner and for all the common good that will be done because of what was learned. May each heart be filled with humility, acknowledging that what has been gained is an awakening to lead lives of service and leadership. and may we all be inspired to participate in filling the entire world with justice, peace, and love for days to come. Ashe and amen. Please rise in body or spirit as we sing our opening hymn.
Please be seated. A reading from Psalm 139, 1 through 18. You have searched me, Lord, and you know me. You know when I sit and when I rise. You perceive my thoughts from afar. You discern my going out and my lying down. You are familiar with all my ways. Before a word is on my tongue, you, Lord, know it completely. You hem me in behind and before, and you lay your hand upon me. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me, too lofty for me to attain. Where can I go from your spirit? Where can I flee from your presence? If I go up to the heavens, you are there. If I make my bed in the depths, you are there. If I rise on the wings of dawn, if I settle on the far side of the sea, even there your hand will guide me. Your right hand will hold me fast. If I say, surely the darkness will hide me, and the light become night around me, even the darkness will not be dark to you. The night will shine like the day, for darkness is as light to you. For you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. My frame was not hidden from you. When I was made in the secret place, when I was woven together in the depths of the earth, your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be. How precious to me are your thoughts, God. How vast is the sum of them. Were I to count them, they would outnumber the grains of sand. When I awake, I am still with you. Thank you.
Good morning. What a beautiful morning it is. What a glorious spot for commencement. First and foremost, I want to salute the members of Davidson's class of 2024. Class of 2024. You make us proud for your brilliance, your determination, and your contributions to our distinctive college. We're going to applaud you often this morning, so get used to it. Class of 2024. We want to offer a special welcome to family and friends of the graduates. Many of you have traveled from long distances to be here. Some of you are joining us via live stream, and we welcome you as well. It's Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. We celebrate all of you mothers and fathers and siblings, guardians, grandparents, any and every family member and friend to express you for helping these seniors to get to this place. We want to take a moment now, and I ask you graduates to take a moment to express your appreciation for everyone who surrounds you here in this space and who surrounds you in your hearts and minds today for helping you to get to this place. Thank you, family and friends. The campus is looking gorgeous and everything has been well prepared for this festive weekend. I hope you were out here, as I was at 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. or 8 a.m. to see the masses of staff members who are here to set this whole area up for this wonderful event. They represent the staff from across this college, from across this campus, who for 4 years have supported students in every aspect of campus life. So I want to thank our wonderful staff this morning. Graduates, here with you today are your faculty. They are sitting to your left. That doesn't mean they're to your political left necessarily. They are here with you, and they have supported you for 4 years as your mentors, as your guides, as your teachers. Please thank our incredible faculty. And it's tradition, and it's fitting to recognize at Davidson's commencement those faculty and staff colleagues who are retiring, who have served 25 or more years at the college. Please rise as I call your name, staff members or faculty members, if you are able, or just wave so that we can recognize you. Please hold your applause till the end. Staff members with over 25 years of service: Joe Burris, Gagal Daly, Mike Good, Peggy Moriano, John Robbins. And faculty members: Malcolm Campbell, Zoran Kuzmanovic, Dave Martin, Annie Merrill, Donna Molinek, and Clark Ross. Thank you all. On this special day, we also pause to remember your classmate, Samuel Anderson. We feel Sam's presence today with this class for his friendships that he formed on this campus and beyond. We hold Sam's family and friends close today, and we give thanks for Sam's life. Graduates, we're grateful for you, for what you accomplished here as students, for the work you're doing now, and for what will come next. At Davidson, you turned your ideas into compelling works of research and art, on the stage and canvas, in the lab and the library. You excelled on the track, field, court, course, and in the pool, and you contributed mightily to the town of Davidson and greater Charlotte. Members of the class of 2024, as you know all too well, you started your first year amidst isolation and uncertainty. Some of you had a high school graduation. For some, it might have been a drive-by diploma pickup, and many of you did not have a graduation. Well, you're having a graduation today. Supported by Davidson's faculty and staff and your loved ones, you showed perseverance. Not by choice, you learned key lessons about resilience and grit. But this morning, I'd like to reflect on the converse message, the profound power of the in-person moments that we have shared at Davidson. Let's focus on 3 gatherings that took place during this, your senior year. In late October, many of you packed into a standing room only Lilly Gallery for a conversation about Israel and Gaza. It was organized by students and led by 2 faculty members. It was informative. It was raw. It was respectful. A faculty member turned to me afterward and he said, "In my 35 years at Davidson, this is the best event I have ever attended." The second gathering was in April. Instead of being somber, it was joyful, even rowdy, as a celebration. Convocation was the first time that you, the class of 2024, gathered and processed in your caps and gowns. You streamed into the Duke Family Performance Hall. We ran out of seats, in fact. We recognize many of you for exceptional achievements in athletics, student life, academics. You cheered for each other as if you were at spring frolics or at the latest Taylor Swift concert in Paris with a new era of songs. You were raucous, you were enthusiastic as you applauded your classmates and your friends. And then last week, May 1st, the Verna Miller Case Symposium for Research and Creative Works. Over 700 students, well over half of your class, participated, showcasing posters, presentations, and performances. Behind every one of those presentations was a faculty or staff member who mentored you. The symposium was a glorious day, beautiful like today, with the sole purpose of celebrating your creations, from artworks and digital music to community-based projects to evaluations of artificial intelligence. Serious, raucous, creative, 3 moments. Each of these 3 events in your senior year had something in common. The Davidson community gathered, we listened to each other, we learned from each other, we showed respect to one another. We acknowledge the expertise and the experience of others. We grieved over violence and suffering, and we upheld and cheered for each other. In each moment, we achieved something together that we could not have achieved as individuals. Commencement is the culminating expression of your common experience. We are inspired by the 2 honorary degree recipients who in their moment stepped forward with bravery and inspiration. We are grateful to our award recipients for their remarkable contributions to this community. Most of all, class of 2024, this is your ultimate shared moment. You will go out into the world as individuals, of course, yet you will always be connected to your classmates by this collective experience. The way that you, class of 2024, found and modeled resilience, and then over 4 years, joy, it's truly impressive. Your sense of justice, sense of fairness, and even your sense of humor made Davidson a better college. You give us hope. The alumni of this college, one of the most engaged in the country, a group which you are joining today, they give me hope. In the words of playwright and statesman of the Czech Republic, Václav Havel, hope is not prognostication, it is an orientation of the spirit, an orientation of the heart. It transcends the world that is immediately experienced and is anchored somewhere beyond its horizons. As Václav Havel says, hope is a way of seeing the world and what is possible. It calls us to have faith or trust in something transcendent, beyond ourselves. For me, seeing you all build a community from a class over 4 years, it has given me a glimpse of a common good, a public good that transcends each one of us, and it calls us to something better, to a sense of purpose. Class of 2024, this is what marks your culminating moment. You are now called to take your knowledge, skills, capacities, and sense of trust that you learned here and go from this place to your next adventure. Because hope, it's an action verb. Depend upon your humane instincts as you learn and lead others. Be an example and prove the power of education not only for yourselves but also for your families and everyone you meet along the way. Just as Davidson will always be a part of you, you will always be a part of this college. In addition to saying congratulations, I want to say thank you for the hope that you instill in all of us. Thank you.
Good morning. I have the honor of announcing the recipients of the Algernon Sidney Sullivan Award, which aims to recognize college students and members of the community of noble character who put service of others before self-interest. Selected by the Honorary Degrees Committee and affirmed by the faculty, the award goes to persons who have given unselfish service without due recognition. 2 awards are presented each year, one to a community member and one to a graduating senior. The 2024 Algernon Sidney Sullivan Community Award goes to someone who epitomizes a life of leadership and service. They grew up in a military family and lived around the world before arriving at Davidson College as a student in the fall of 1983. After graduation and working briefly for the college, they followed in their father's footsteps, serving 26 years in the United States Navy, because they retired as a Navy captain in 2015. They served on 3 ships, and their shore assignments ranged from Afghanistan to the White House. Upon retirement, they moved to Davidson with their spouse and became an active advocate for affordable housing. As a regular Habitat for Humanity volunteer, they worked on homes in Cornelius, Huntersville, Mooresville, and Davidson. Our community recipient has also played an integral role in the Room in the Inn program. Through this program, which was originally envisioned by a Davidson student in 1998, area churches and other groups offer unhoused neighbors a warm place to spend the night. Our recipient has enlisted community volunteers and Davidson College students to set up beds, pick up our guests in Charlotte, offer dinner and hospitality, provide breakfast, a bag lunch, and a return trip to Charlotte. For the better part of a decade, the Room in the Inn program has been run on Friday evenings during the cold winter months of December through March at the Davidson College Presbyterian Church. In the past several years, our community recipient has recruited additional volunteers so the program could expand from Fridays to Thursdays and Fridays. As we think about nominations for this honor, careful consideration is given to community members who have given unselfish service without due recognition. That means in most cases, the person is actually surprised to hear their name announced. And in most cases, getting them here requires a special kind of invitation. We were pretty confident today's recipient would be in attendance because it is hard to remember a significant college or town event where our winner was not present to take photos for the nonprofit news website, News of Davidson. At the recommendation of the Honorary Degrees Committee and with the approval of the faculty, Davidson College is proud to bestow the 2024 Algernon Sidney Sullivan Award to Jane Elizabeth Campbell, class of 1987. The 2024 Algernon Sidney Sullivan Student Award goes to an economics major and applied mathematics minor who has led with creativity and care to make a positive impact here and in the Davidson community. Our award recipient has held numerous leadership roles on campus, including Senior Admission Fellow, International Admission Ambassador, Hall Counselor, and Resident Advisor. Our recipient is known for their willingness to help, from driving a 15-passenger van for a Davidson International Association event to volunteering at international host family picnics. For the past 4 years, our recipient has been a Bonner Scholar, participating in a selective scholarship program that helps students bring about positive community change through service, research, and action. As a Bonner Scholar, our recipient has completed at least 280 hours of community service each academic year and 240 hours of service in each of 2 summers. Our recipient has worked with Davidson Community Foundation and has also cultivated a deep relationship with the leaders of the Davidson Community Garden. This year at the Community Garden, he led a team of Davidson College student peers to construct additional box beds, build a vertical garden structure, and transition garden equipment to a new storage unit. In January 2023, he received a prestigious Projects for Peace grant to return home to Kenya to implement an initiative named Growing Futures. The Growing Futures project, which he developed, promotes sustainable agriculture and agribusiness with the aim of creating a viable economic model to cover the operational costs of the Hosanna Children's Home. Additionally, through his connections to the Kenya Scholar Access Program, known as KENSAP, he's been instrumental in encouraging many Kenyans to apply to Davidson, has graciously shared his experiences with prospective students, and in January of this year, he helped coordinate an opportunity for the executive director of KENSAP to meet with Kenyan students during a campus visit. An economics professor commented that today's recipient is, quote, particularly impressive. In addition to his wonderful service contributions, he has maintained a strong academic record while taking very challenging courses. I know he hopes to use his academic prowess to continue helping others during his professional career, end quote. At the recommendation of the Honorary Degrees Committee and the approval of the faculty, Davidson College is proud to bestow the 2024 Algernon Sidney Sullivan Award to Samuel Wathira.
Today, we will present 2 Hunter Hamilton Love of Teaching Awards for exceptional service as a faculty member in teaching. First, the professor we honor today has a transformative approach to education and has profoundly shaped the lives and careers of numerous students at Davidson. One student vividly recalled our honorees' enthusiasm in the classroom. Their passion for the subject allowed me to leave each lecture captivated. Another alum highlighted this professor's ability to communicate clearly and to cultivate that skill in their students. I aspire to emulate the clarity which they use in their teaching and writing. This student writes, "This professor has taught me that an effective command of language is necessary, especially in the sciences." According to one recommender, this professor prioritizes a supportive learning environment for each of their students and values diversity in their job. In weekly lab meetings, this professor would often bring up current events, especially if they applied to or impacted any specific lab member, their families, and/or home countries. Nominators also lauded this professor's impressive ability to teach the scientific method by example. One student shared, "Instead of handing us the answer to a question, they would hand us a textbook and encourage us to come up with our own solutions. This approach is so true to the scientific process, and it is still how I approach problem solving in all aspects of my research." Several alums fondly recalled how this professor's transformative teaching instilled in them a deep and enduring passion for the sciences, reshaping their academic and professional futures. This professor is the reason that I became a biology major. I stumbled into their intro class, somehow unaware that it was meant for majors only. I never even took biology in high school, and I was totally overwhelmed. It was like a foreign language. This could have been an awful experience, but thanks to this professor, it was wonderful. Another student recalls, "I took Biology 111 with this professor, and that is where my love for science began. Having not taken AP Biology in high school and hearing that she's really, really tough, I came into the class motivated and excited, but slightly terrified. After only 2 weeks, I was enthralled with that material. Never in my academic career have I loved learning so much. Not only was it novel and interesting, but this professor made me get it. In the process, she set me on the path to becoming a professional scientist, a path I am still on today." This sentiment is echoed by many who have walked through her classroom doors, each touched by her dedication and clarity. Her legacy is evident in the success and gratitude of her students, who continue to benefit from her wisdom, humor, and mentorship long after they leave her classroom. For your unwavering dedication, profound impact on students, and nurturing of a generation of scientists who not only excel in their fields, but who also approach problems with independence and creativity, it is our honor to award the 2024 Hunter Hamilton Love of Teaching Award to you, Dr. Karen Hales. Davidson faculty are living proof that no subject is out of reach for a committed learner under the guidance of a gifted and devoted teacher. We honor such a teacher today. Students are inspired by this recipient's ability to effectively convey material to students of varied abilities and backgrounds, and capacity to simultaneously be a great support for students while pushing them towards greater achievement. Nominators find this professor's courses rigorous and challenging, yet so rewarding, including that wonderful moment when they know they wanted to pursue our honorees' field of study. Our recipient is widely praised for clear and engaging exposition. As one nominator marveled, 5 courses later, it's still mostly mysterious how they are able to pull it off. Like any virtuoso performance, this professor's lecturing belies its craft. Students appreciate this professor pushing students to become more inquisitive scholars. One nominator described how we were given great latitude on the specific problem and methods we wanted to use. This independence fostered creativity and curiosity and gave us a sense of what research would be like if we decided to stay in the field. This professor is widely lauded for the depth of curiosity they inspire, the rigor with which their students approach problems, and the successes those students experience. As one nominator wrote, "You know something special is happening when a professor can take on someone as close to a raw recruit as I was and have them on another continent, standing in front of a room of experts presenting original research. Of all the things I did at Davidson, working with this professor and seeing their contagious enthusiasm for discovery convinced me to become a researcher." Not only are this professor's office hours full of students ready to ask questions, he is deeply committed to expanding the reach of his field beyond its traditional audience. As one nominator explained, he connected assignments to real-world problems that computing could help solve. He made coding approachable in pairing students up on big assignments so that we could learn from each other and not feel alone. And he made it funny. Somehow he brought humor and life into the world of zeros and ones. Recalling how our honorary helped them through their lowest moment, an alum wrote, "I was close to changing my major, withdrawing from the world of coding and calling it quits. In that moment, he listened to me intently and then told me he believed in me. I still feed from the same confidence that came from that crucial affirmation that I received in Chambers years ago, for recognizing students' potential and challenging them to realize it, for your contagious enthusiasm and dedication to the craft of teaching, for broadening participation in computer science and having an impact that can't be measured. We recognize you with the 2024 Hunter Hamilton Love of Teaching Award, Dr. Raghu Ramanujan." Since its first days more than 185 years ago, right in this very place, Davidson College has assisted students in developing humane instincts and discipline and creative minds for lives of leadership and service. Today, we honor 2 alums whose lives model the college's highest aspirations for our graduates. Porter Halliburton, will you please come forward? Porter Alexander Halliburton truly is a son of Davidson. His mother, Catherine Porter Halliburton, worked in the alumni office. His grandfather, William Lorimer Porter, was a professor of biology and geology. His childhood was spent roaming this small town, where the street he grew up on bore his grandfather's name. No one could predict how his life would unfold or the impact his story would have. After graduation from Davidson in 1963, Porter Halliburton joined the Navy and in 1965 went to Vietnam as radar intercept officer on a fighter bomber. After 75 missions, his F-4 Phantom was shot down 40 miles north of Hanoi. He spent the next 7 years, 3 months, and 28 days as a prisoner of the North Vietnamese in various POW camps, including the infamous Hanoi Hilton. He was listed as killed in action, and a funeral for him was held here in Davidson. His headstone has moved with him around the country and is now a fixture in his daughter's Greensboro backyard. During his captivity, the North Vietnamese put Fred Cherry, an African-American pilot who had been shot down and badly wounded, in his cell. His captors believed this racial tension, combined with torture, could break down both men's spirits and produce the so-called confessions they sought. Instead, the opposite happened. The two men helped each other endure the unspeakable torture and deprivation they faced, and each credited the other with saving his life. A lifelong friendship was born. For his extraordinary courage and fortitude, Commander Halliburton received numerous military awards, including the Silver Star and 3 Purple Heart medals, 3 Bronze Stars, the Legion of Merit, and 7 Air Medals. Upon his return to his family in the United States, Commander Halliburton completed his graduate work in journalism at the University of Georgia and served on the faculty at the Naval War College in Newport, Rhode Island. An extraordinary life by any measure. We honor Porter Halliburton today for his accomplishments and the way he has shared his hard-won lessons with us all. Through written and spoken word and through reconciliation tours of Vietnam, he has shared lessons of courage, of the importance of friendship and community, and of the freedom and power found in forgiveness. Because you show us the importance of communication, from tap code to poetry, and the profound value of human connection. Because your self-described long-term, non-specific optimism, courage, and resilience are models for us all. Because you chose forgiveness and grace over bitterness and hatred. Now, therefore, on the 12th day of May in the year 2024, Davidson College, with the approval of the faculty and the concurrence of the Board of Trustees, honors you, Porter Alexander Halliburton, and names you Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa. Congratulations. Doug Orr, will you please come forward? Today we honor another Davidson alum whose life and work has shaped the educational and cultural landscape of North Carolina and beyond. A 1961 graduate, Dr. Orr's life journey perhaps was predicted by his time as a Davidson student, salutatorian, captain of the men's tennis team, ROTC, and member of a student band, demonstrating a wide variety of talents and interests, all very capably done. After graduation, Dr. Orr earned his MBA and PhD in geography at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. Dr. Orr then served as faculty member and vice chancellor at the University of North Carolina at Charlotte, helping shape the fledgling university and support the astonishing growth of the region in which it is located. He received the university's Excellence in Teaching Award. His contributions as a scholar of geography have provided strategic insights to generations of regional planners across the state. From 1991 to 2006, Doug Orr served as the president of Warren Wilson College, a liberal arts college in Asheville, characterized by its program of liberal arts study, work, service learning, sustainability, and international experiences. Dr. Orr's philosophy was that the college should, quote, raise the basic questions of calling and selfhood, and thereby allow students to find the pathway to a life full of meaning and service in a free society. During his tenure, the once struggling college saw a period of historic growth, doubling the number of students and majors, constructing 22 buildings. Under his watch, Warren Wilson became the first college in the state to have a gold LEED certified building, a visible symbol of the college's early and continuing contributions to environmental sustainability. He has served on the Board of Trustees at Berea College, Johnson C. Smith University, and the University of North Carolina at Asheville, where he also served as interim chancellor. As senior consultant and fellow of the National Association of Governing Boards, he has mentored and advised boards and presidents at more than 100 colleges and universities. His scholar's heart, musician's ear, and knowledge of North Carolina led him to a path of traditional music. While at Warren Wilson, he launched the Swananoa Gathering Summer Traditional Music Program that now attracts 1,500 participants from all over the world. His book, Wayfaring Strangers, The Musical Voyage from Scotland and Ulster to Appalachia, co-authored with Scotland's Fiona Ritchie, host of NPR's The Thistle and Shamrock weekly radio program, is in its fourth printing and is a New York Times bestseller. Because you contributed significantly to higher education in North Carolina and beyond, because you helped spread the joy of traditional music of Appalachia, because you carried out your random acts of community building and did it all with a sense of wonder. Now, therefore, on the 12th day of May in this year, 2024, Davidson College, with the approval of the faculty and the concurrence of the Board of Trustees, honors you, Douglas M. Orr, Jr., and names you Doctor of Letters, honoris causa. Congratulations.
Each year at commencement, the seniors with the highest cumulative grade point averages receive first honors. This year we have 12 students receiving first honors. As I call the names of this year's recipients, would you please come to the platform to receive your award? Claudia Scott Craig. Sophia Alexis DeMeo. Madeline Jean Fitzgerald. Madeline Rose Holloman. Delario Boyette Nance, Jr. Anya Nuket Neumeister. Catherine Ann O'Connor. Nadine Elizabeth Shannon. Vij Sharma. Anthony Joseph Texera. Cole Nathan Vulpes. Jack Douglas Weiss.
Hi, everyone. My name is Daisy Hoover, and I am just so incredibly grateful to have been the class president this year. I'm going to be announcing the senior class gift. But first, before we get into business, I've been joking that graduation doesn't feel real yet. I have to say, this makes it feel pretty real. You're going to hear it a lot today, but congratulations. You made it through all your classes, your finals, the senior class party. Everyone made it here on time. That was amazing. And today, as we prepare to walk across the stage and become alumni, it's time to reflect on what experiences meant the most to us and decide how we want to carry them forward. Every year, the Davidson seniors give back through the senior class gift. During our time here, each of us has likely benefited from the financial generosity of the Davidson community. The Fund for Davidson supports scholarships, diversity and inclusion initiatives, health and well-being programming, internships, fellowships, research grants, the arts, athletics, and more. If you decided to give this year, which many of you did, you chose the area of campus most meaningful to you and directed your gift there. It is my pleasure to announce that, to date, over 60% of our class is given to the Fund for Davidson. The areas that we have chosen to support most are diversity and inclusion initiatives, scholarships, and internships and fellowships. Y'all, we had so much. We're overachievers. We couldn't pick just one thing. This gift symbolizes our entry into an alumni community that is among the most generous in the nation and has enabled many of our experiences over the past 4 years. Alum giving is one of the main ways specific programs and departments have the funding necessary to shape student experiences, allowing us to influence Davidson for years to come. I would like to give a huge shout out to Allie Hay and Sophia Hood, our senior class gift chairs, who worked tirelessly this year to educate our class on giving and plan fun activities to celebrate our senior year. I'd also like to thank the many of you who have already given and had an impact on current and future Wildcats. I couldn't be more proud of all of us, and I am so excited to be part of our generous Wildcat community and join you all in alumnihood. All right, congrats, y'all.
My spirit sang all day, oh my joy, nothing my tongue could say, only my joy. Oh my joy, and spake, tell every my thought, hide not thy joy. My eyes can peer around, oh my joy, what beauty hast thou found? Show us thy joy. My jealous ears grewest, oh my joy, music from heaven is sent for our joy. She also came and heard
Will those students who have completed the requirements for the degree of Bachelor of Science please stand? We also recognize today those members of the class of 2024 who will graduate in August with a degree of Bachelor of Science, and I invite them to stand as well. President Hicks, I have the honor to present these students who, having fulfilled the requirements set by the faculty for the degree of Bachelor of Science, are now to receive their diplomas, as well as those students who anticipate receiving their diplomas in August.
By the authority of the state of North Carolina, with the approval of the faculty and the consent of the trustees, I now confer upon those students who have completed the requirements for the degree of Bachelor of Science with all the rights and privileges appertaining thereunto. Congratulations.
Zainab Ghazi Abu Hakima. Isabella Andrea Acosta Jimenez, Honors in Environmental Studies. Abigail Margaret Adams. Shaheen Ahmadi, Honors in Computer Science. Constantina Akritidu. Tristan Emmanuel Allen. Charles Michael Almeida. Porter Dwayne Alston. Sean An. Adeline Lily Anderson. Joshua Mark Aniselli. Jacob Andrew Ongstreich. Susanna Sippel Armstrong, Honors in Chemistry. Pishanika Rose Arnold. Hamid Awal, Honors in Physics. Blake Middlebrook Bai. Micah John Behrman. Sarah Jane Baker. Anna Hope Baldwin. Jack Kensington Barnett. Lila Blue Barrett. Petros Batsikis. Andrew Meyer Beamer. Jean Lewis Beltran. Catherine Angelina Benyon. Abigail Mackenzie Bigley. Natalie Grace Bivens. Cameo Willie Stevenson Blankenship. Pierce Tawani Bombard, Honors in Chemistry. Shay Leanne Bonacci. Isabella Patricia Brady. Ian Joseph Brand, Honors in Chemistry. Musa Ogajun Budunar in absentia. Megan Ann Burkholder. Jordan Elijah Burrell. Robert Allen Isaac Matthew Bynum. Megan Elizabeth Kedu, honors in chemistry. Grace Roseanne Calvert, honors in psychology. Noel Carol Sigelski. Pauline Wonhee Cha, honors in computer science. Ramsey Mansour Shaban. Chaoyong Chen. Caroline Elizabeth Clark. Thomas Jackson Cleveland. Jada Michelle Coffey. Maeve Mulady Corcoran, honors in psychology. Kyle Christopher Costello. William Christopher Cox. Emma Jordan Cronin. Ever Free Cruz. Philip Tyrus Cryan. Luke Benjamin Daly. Isaiah Branner D'Amato. Susie Rose Deegan. Gilbert Lewis Deglaw. Jenna Lauren DeLuca. Sophia Alexis DeMeo, first honor. Elizabeth Lawrence De Palma. Abigail Julia Dietrich. Brooke Olivia Ditcham. Jessica Erin Doyle. Erin Leanne Ellis. Ryan Albert Fesco. Joseph Jake Fernicola. Emma Grace Ficara. Tess Elizabeth Fink. Madeline Jean Fitzgerald, honors in chemistry, first honor. Phoebe Jane Fowler. Anne Estelle Fryer. Amanda Iris Forzalita. Christopher Trey Gardner. Catherine Gordon Gilman. Maria Carla Gonzalez Aguiar. Kimaya Rayanne Gracias, honors in psychology. Isabella Evelyn Grayson. Sarah Marie Green. Olivia Milan Garinello. Zhiqi Guo. Meredith Emily Haynes. Oma Mika Hamid. Ryad Nair Hamid. Sarah Todd Hammer, honors in psychology. Joshua Timothy Harden. Jaden Christopher Hardrick. Howard Larkin Harrell. Daniel Preston Harrington. Tiffany Ashlyn Haight. Bao-Chi He, honors in biology. Emma Ann Heiderscheid. Virginia Tumlin Heiser. Kari Shaquille Henry. Rachel Bethany Herrera. Hoyen Ian Hearn. Jack Arthur Hicks. David McMillan Hilton. Dongduk An Huang. Victoria Monroe Holdsworth. Anders Matheson Holmes. Sophia Baker Hood. Daisy Johanna Hoover.
Great remarks, too.
Olivia Rose Janae Howard. Sophia Grace Ritz. Shenrei Shao Hu. Hu Hao Young. Young Sung Hu, honors in chemistry. Kathleen Elizabeth Hines. Safwan Islam. Belange Chusiso Iteter. Chalet McKinley Jacks. Carlos Daniel Jaramillo Rodriguez. Bryn Arden Jones. Gabrielle Octavian Jones. Mallory Claire Justice. Malvika Kalani, honors in mathematics. Patrick Stanislav Kielb. Terry Kim. Grace Day Wells Kingsbury. James Everett Kinsey. Tavi Vera Kittredge, honors in English. Anastasia Kaur, honors in sociology. Catherine Rose Coalition, high honors in German studies. Evelyn Sarah Lake. Connor Allen Latterman. Caitlin Marie Lazorchek, honors in biology. Tremont Lam Lay. Bailey Grace Liepart. Alinez LeBron Torres. Olivia Lee honors in psychology. Zihao Li. Xing Ling. Fei Young Lil. Honors in chemistry, honors in music. Angelique Rose Lorenzo. Kylie Elizabeth Love. Mary Hamilton Loance. James Jordan Lundell. Jackson Carter Luthi. Nia Ma. Daniel Robert Maddie. Mateo Tori Molino. Madeline Chelsea Marcourt. Kiera Nicole Marshall, honors in neuroscience. Miriam Adanya Martinez. Ava Soleil Mason. Cameron Constantinos Matir. Kara Lynn Maxwell, honors in French and Francophone studies. Corinne Taylor McAfee, high honors in neuroscience. John Reed McAlpin. Parker David McNamara. Trey Alexander Messer. Alexis Nicole Moore. Jeremiah Carl Andrew Morgan. Mackenzie Hannah Morris. Michael Paul Moulton II. Marcelo Javier Munoz, honors in chemistry. Sutton Elizabeth Murray. Emma Grace Murtaugh. Lizabella Nadelson. Delario Boyette Nance Jr., first honor. Alyssa Sandra Natoli. Alina Navani. Erica De Jesus Navarro. Anne Nishida. James Brent Jaeun No. Morgan Elizabeth O'Brien. Catherine Ann O'Connor, high honors in biology, first honor. Chinedu Okeki. Ushola Omolara Olawakeme Omanaje. Sheridan Mitchell Page, high honors in biology. Jillian Boyu Paquette, honors in biology. Kelly Marie Paris. Ted Olivier Pasquette. Emily Ann Payton. Drew Bradley Patterson. Christopher Andrew Paul. Emma Jane Pedrick. Katie Ann Elizabeth Peterson. Madeline Remy Plank. Charisse Shingray Chi. Nija Imani Quash. Rakeen Rahman. Cynthia Veronice Ramirez Ramirez. Patricia Rodaldes Calvario. Ore Mike Ramezo. Andrew Armstrong Rice. Olivia Rose Rittenhouse. Johnny Rivera Jr., honors in mathematics. Layla Camille Robinson. Grace Elizabeth Rooker. Annabelle Ellison Hume Ross. Alexis Ray Rudenko. Leanna Kate Russo in absentia. Garrett Patrick Ryan. Bryce Eric Sanderlin. Sarah Bailey Snaringer. Arthur Hudson Sellers. Nadine Elizabeth Shannon, first honor. Vid Sharma, first honor. Quahesh Sharma, honors in chemistry. Shreya Bringol Sharma. Lillian Viola Sarover, honors in biology. Christopher Robert Sosnick. Anthony Gerard Spera. Jack Stehos.
Caitlin Olivia Sten. Garrett Howley Stewart. Sylvia Elise Stewart Bates. Bridget Marie Jane Stiefel. Ivy Keegan Stump. Sarah Elizabeth Sweeting. Jaden Joseph Silvestri. Talar Victoria Grace Terzian. Caroline Ransdell Thompson, honors in environmental studies. Ronan Christopher Towell. Joshua Frederick Tripp. Haley McCullough Suda. Umut Turk, high honors in computer science. Itsu Lisbeth Barris. Emilio Connor Villasana. Natalia Katka Velasco Vukdovich. Cole Nathan Vulpes, honors in mathematics, first honor. Kisan Jaker Diaz. Charles Eugene Waldner IV. Cameron Janelle Walker. Jerry Wong. Catherine Elizabeth Ward. Jayla Michelle Wheeler. Francis Lawson Whitworth. Jack Douglas Wees, first honor. Benjamin Harry Williams. Ella Grace Yayu Williams. Emily Madison Williams. Shane O'Reilly Winner. Isabella Schossler Witherow. Abigail Lillian Woodward. Tyler Gregory Connor Yont. Daniel Stephen Yetznick. Michael William Frank Zemanek in absentia. Runtien Joe.
Will those students who have completed the requirements for the degree of Bachelor of Arts please stand? We also recognize today those members of the class of 2024 who will graduate in August with a degree of Bachelor of Arts, and I invite them to stand as well. President Hicks, I have the honor to present these students who, having fulfilled the requirements set by the faculty for the degree of Bachelor of Arts, are now to receive their diplomas, as well as those students anticipate receiving their diplomas in August.
By the authority of the state of North Carolina, with the approval of the faculty and with the consent of the trustees, I now confer upon those students who have completed the requirements the degree Bachelor of Arts with all the rights and privileges appertaining thereunto. Congratulations.
Rachel Elizabeth Alexander Lee. Hunter Thomas Simon Anderson. Victoria Unyanichi Enyao, honors in sociology. Thomas Campbell Athey. Nathaniel James Baganza, honors in English. Davis Ann Bailey. Elizabeth Ann Bailey. Thomas Scott Baker. Annika Reethi Banerjee, high honors in communication studies. Genevieve Kathleen Barge. Nikhil Indro Basu, honors in philosophy, politics, and economics. Claire Susan Bagala. Quinn Alexander Ballone. John Conley Bogan.
Thank you.
Chloe Emily Boissy Stauffer.
Congratulations.
Chloe Grace Booker.
Congratulations.
Philip Adam Borkowski.
Congrats.
Barkley Hanks Briggs.
Congratulations, Barkley.
Roy Barrett Britt.
Congratulations.
Joseph Miles Brockman.
Congratulations.
Ridley Tate Browder, Honors in Sociology. Sarah Renee Brown, Honors in Religious Studies.
Good job. Congratulations.
Emily Schaefer Bryant. William Luke Bryant.
Congratulations.
Emily Christine Buer, Honors in Digital and Screen Media. Ariane Elise Bryant Burt.
Congratulations.
Nicholas Edward Calero.
Congratulations.
Michael Robert Callahan.
Congratulations.
John Wells Campbell. Jaden Lee Caramba. Julianne Janice Carey.
Congratulations.
Andrew Philip Carlson.
Congratulations.
Eva Grable Carter. Richard Craven Carter IV.
Congratulations.
Nicholas Austin Cavallo. Michael Chi Chapin, Honors in English. Kelsey Lachlan Chase. Li Yin Chen, Honors in Sociology. Joseph Cho. Sandro Chumushvili. Joseph Ransom Clare, Honors in Studio Art. Ethan Thomas Clark. William Emerson Clark. Samson Miller Cochran, High Honors in Art History. Catherine Elizabeth Kutze. Allegra Pilar Colonna. Claudia Scott Craig, First Honor. Daniel Scott Crane. Kate Elizabeth Cross, Honors in Art History. Logan Rockwell Cudlip. Owen Robert Curry. Robert Gingrich Cushman. Benjamin Robert Cutforth. Gavin Cooper Damasco. Henry Vito D'Amico. Mason Montgomery Davis, Honors in English. Constantine Nicholas Desjardins, Honors in Economics. Nolan Daniel DeVos, in absentia. Sean William Dick, High Honors in Communication Studies. Stephanie Marie Didier.
Congratulations.
William Tyler Douglas. Paige Vasilia Doyle. Jake Oliver Dunnigan. Taylor Ann Dykes, honors in English. Tom David Eford II.
Way to go. Congratulations.
Mason Henry Escobar. Courtney Michelle Fortunato.
Isaac Reese Franks. Clarence Leon Freeman IV. Virginia Holmes French. Jack William Fuller. Li Xin Gao. Ilya Yuri Garbuzov in absentia. Lauren Elizabeth Garcia. Kevin Xavier Garcia Galindo. Honors in philosophy. Grace Wakefield Gardner. Alice Maylee Garner. Acela Gillis Alonso. James Robinson Gilreath III. Mary Lucinda Gore. Toshani Goyle. Andy Lijuan Gotchis. Emma Elizabeth Goldfarb. Caroline Claire Green. Henry Lawrence Griffith. Kari Elisa Gutman. Catherine May Hafke. Jonathan Maxwell Hammond. Joseph Walker Haney. Sophia Ann Hanna. James Case Harris. Sydney Catherine Harris. Catherine Allred Hay with honors in sociology. Alexander Pierce Hefner. Elias David Petro Henderson. John Douglas Henderson. Catherine Grace Herema with honors in economics. Jacob David Hertzinger. Elizabeth Campbell Hickman. Annie Elizabeth Hirschman. Madeline Rose Holloman, first honor. Aaron Mark Hopkins. Nicholas Braden Horstkamp. Grant Douglas Huffman. Molly Catherine Hughes. Abdullah Hussein in absentia. Kyung-Ah Wong. Kayla Asata Jacobs. Miles Gabriel Jameson. Nazir Diori Jean-Paul. Anna Christine Jepson, honors in public health. Colin Douglas Johnson. Maxwell Kotaroff. Marcus Jonah Kaler. Benjamin Douglas Kellogg, honors in philosophy. Lean Kasawa. Cameron Khosravi. William Joseph Ronan Kiernan, honors in history. Margaret Amelia Kinton, high honors in anthropology. Beck Evan Kipperman. Nora Renee Klein. Khalees Ellen Kerner. Cameron Charles Krakowiak. Megan Marina Lagutin, high honors in political science. Kaya Agnes Larson. Benjamin Peter Lemakis. Megan Grace Lawrence. Connor James Leach. Mackenzie Renee Leonard. Helena Julieta Lesney, honors in English. McKinley Covington Lettre. Lou Darwin Letke. Catherine Williams Livingston. Ian Henry Steele Masel. Heather Elizabeth Mansell with honors in history. Peter Didea Martinez. John McLean Mason. John Thomas Matsudera. Abigail Claire Matthews. Julia Grace Mathieson. Caroline Wynne Morano, honors in music. Harrison Cook Mazurki. Mark Daniel McCurdy. Henry Charles McGannon. Charles Richard McGee. Maxwell Thomas McKenna. Cale Joshua McLaren. Katie Beth McNabe in absentia. Rosemary Claire McNiff, honors in global literary theory. Maximilian Robert Mears. Emma Hope Melton. Dominic, honors in history, sorry. Dominic Benoit Mendelson. Jenna Brianne Menitrier. Shuo Meng, honors in sociology. Marissa Annette Meyer. Nicholas J. Miller, Jr. Christopher Dae Hong Min. Sarah Elizabeth Mingus. Storm Duncan Monroe. Sophia Ann Monty. Alexa Montgomery. Caroline Grace Moran. Benjamin Arthur Moorhead, honors in English. Abigail Page Morris, honors in English. Whoops. Daniel David Mulhern. Caitlin Marie Munstner.
Erica Faith Nagahashi. Gabriella Lisi Nam. Honors in Environmental Studies. Annika Claire Narbut. Anya Nuket Newmeister, honors in Hispanic Studies, honors in Political Science, first honor. Einstein Tafara Nara. Campbell Carey Nicholson. Daniel Alexeyevich Ukolov. Nikolaos Paramithiotis. Sophia Isabel Pardue. Sophia Lucine Pasalacqua. Riley Elizabeth Patton. William Brown Payne, honors in art history. Casey Ann Planta. Hollis Ann Plexico. Aaron Gray Price. Anna Bess Pridgeon. Anna Catherine Rahili, honors in anthropology. Prithvi Singh Rai, honors in economics. Maddox James Reese. Abigail Lane Regan. Zoe An Wren. Jackson Grange Renfro. Mia Riley Riffle. Elizabeth Lane Riggs. Cecile Francis Roberts. Cole John Robinson. Peter Thomas Rock, honors in political science in absentia. Cato Roel. Bunduit Nathan Ronakiat. Daniel Mark Rosenfeld. Benjamin Joyce Rosenthal. Catherine Michaela Rummage in absentia. Caroline Yunju Rideski. Adam Kirkpatrick Saki, honors in art history. Bernice Sarah Saladin, honors in political science. Felix Bovard Salmons. Melissa Santos Castañón. Rausam S.B. Sharahil in absentia. Vincent Reynolds Scazzo. Sydney Elise Schertz. Sally Grace Schutz. Charles Timothy Sellers, honors in history. Nicholas Michael Shedleski. Amelia Craig Shields, honors in studio art. Caroline Ashley Sillers, honors in art history. AJ Prakash Singh. Nora Jane Shui, honors in environmental studies. David Bradley Skogman. Matthew James Scholar. Clara Murrin Smith. Edward Connor Smith. Ian James Smith. Isabel Rose Smith, honors in English. Lagan Ansley Smith. Molly Mackenzie Smith. William Leahy Smith, honors in economics. Zoe Amelia Smithwick. David Michael Son. Carlos Alejandro Solares, Jr. Sierra Renee Solers. Charlotte Adele Spears. Catherine Ann Spencer, honors in Russian studies. Ellen Coleman Stewart. Hallie Virginia Stewart, honors in Hispanic studies. Cooper Stanley Strauss. Brianna Angelina Suarez. Arella Victoria Slapak. Catherine Shirley Tadlock. Sydney Marie Tarmeno. Eleanor Claire Tatum. Eleanor Sophia Taylor. Victor Granger Taylor III. Anthony Joseph Texera, first honor. Jack Harris Bratton Tendler. Mary Nell McCullough Todd. Patrick Graham Trask, Jr. Martha Eva Tripsa. Gabriela Pinto Tunger, honors in sociology. Abigail Armistead Tutterow. Samuel Ndichu Withira. Claire Jaylin Wong. Kaiyan Wang, honors in art history. Seth Ryan Warner. Aaron Marcaleb Warren. Thomas Paul Warren, honors in history. Hartford Lee Watkins III. Luke Harrison Watson. Maxwell Kazuma Weaver in absentia. Thomas Vaughn Wheeler. Noah William Wieland. Graham Harris Hall Wilder. Jacob Degenhart Wilhoit. Alexandra Lee Williamson. Owen Keller Williamson. Alana Catherine Lee Wilson, honors in studio art. Paige Helen Wolfenden. Cecilia Jessica Wu, honors in French and Francophone studies. Scout Elizabeth Yoakley, honors in environmental studies. Thomas Elliott Zahner. Ruby Rong Zhou.
Congratulations, class of 2024. It is an honor to now share this charge with you. Today, we celebrate your joining the company of those known to have enjoyed in unusual measure the privilege of scholarly training and liberal learning. We ask that when you receive your degree, you treat it as a sacred trust, the emblem of your obligation to serve. Hold it with honor to yourself, in loyalty to your alma mater, and in fidelity to God, to your country, and to all humankind. Please stand now as the chorale seniors will lead us in the alma mater.
invite you to join me now in the closing prayer in whatever way resonates most with you. Before the sacred mystery, which extends from the very beginning and into the great beyond, we pause in wonder, gratitude, and praise. In these fleeting moments, we give thanks once more for this season, sufficient in its goodness and sweetened by its finitude. Thank you for the guidance we have received, the growth we have experienced, and the deep love we have encountered along the way. As we have been guided thus far, may we be strengthened and sustained for all that beckons us beyond the here and now. Grant us humane instincts and disciplined and creative minds, that we may not live for ourselves alone, but seek to serve both strangers and enemies, neighbors and friends, with all that we have and all that we are. We offer these hopes in the names we know you best. Amen.
Congratulations, class of 2024.